I want to make it clear to each of you that I do not even know who the authors are of these bills, nor will I dwell on the merits of the bills. That is not the question with which we're confronted. I do know that Article 3, Section 38 of the Texas Constitution requires that all bills shall be signed in the presence of both houses by the presiding officers. Now, these bills were 7 days late. If it's in order that bills can be held 7 days, who would question they're being held 21 days, which would deny the governor even an opportunity of seeing the bills, and they would become law without his signature, of course. Certainly, I want to be satisfied in support of the Constitution concerned, and let me give you an example why. Now, I happen to know that there's a bill in this group that creates several courts. And let's assume that we have a suit in one of these courts, a criminal suit, and the fellow maybe is given a death penalty or a 99-year penalty. And then they come back and they attack the constitutionality of the creation of this court.
As the space program Spectator has become more sophisticated, the astronauts wearing apparel has generated less interest. In other words, it's not the Buck Rogers Halloween suit of years past. But at LTV's Missiles and Space Division, future critical aspects of the spaceman's uniform are being tested in a giant simulator. Division Manager Jack Welch tells Jim Riddle about that simulator's principal tenets.
What we're doing here is trying to simulate the pressure, the temperature, and the radiation on the moon. Dave the dummy is standing in a chamber that has cold walls on the side, has a radiation source in the back end which gives the ultraviolet, the visible, and infrared from the moon. And then finally, he is standing in an infrared enclosure which is simulating a moon crater, as if he were walking down inside of the crater. Dave is instrumented for his temperature and reactions within the suit so that we know what will be happening with a man while he's on the moon for long duration. His outside temperatures will vary from minus 250 degrees Fahrenheit to plus 250 degrees Fahrenheit, and Dave will be nice and comfortable from about 75 and no more than about 90 degrees inside of his suit.
So while some of us are worried about whether the astronauts can use hot lather and still perform on television in space, NASA, LTV Aerospace, and others are ranking a life support system as a higher priority. This is Art Gilligage reporting from Grand Prairie for Channel 8 News.
And what we're saying is that we've got too much talent here for it to go to waste, and women should have a right to it. There are jobs that go unfilled, top-level jobs requiring trained people, but oftentimes we don't even consider women for those jobs. And certainly as we look at training opportunities, we rather eliminate this possibility. So you see, it's not so much by overt, direct discrimination as much as it is something that I think is even worse. Absolute unawareness of their existence as a possibility for such employment.
But at the same time, hasn't there been criticism that perhaps too many women have been away from the home, and is one reason we may have juvenile delinquency and this sort of thing?
Oh, I think this is one of the most amusing things about research. At one time we said it was women's being away from home, and now the researchers are telling us that it really doesn't make any difference, that there can be delinquents developing when women are at home, 24 hours a day. that maybe we'd better start looking at how often men are away from home and the kinds of things that are taking them out of the home, where the absence of a father is making a difference.
One of my bosses has been spending all morning looking up, and everybody in our office is curious to know if you know how to spell orthographize, which means the person who spells correctly.
Oh, I never heard of it.
Could you take a stab at it for us?
Could you say it again?
Let me look it up. Let's see. It's orthographize.
Okay, ARTHOGRAPHIES.
Well, according to our sources, it's ORTHOGRAPHIVE, but that was a good try. What? Can you think of
the part already?
What do you intend to do in the future?
Way in the future.
Well,
okay.
Thinking about.
Oh, I guess maybe I'll be a teacher, or I'm interested in writing, or something like that.
How about newspaper work? Reporters have to spell.
From what I've heard of that this past week, I guess maybe I'll stick to other kinds of writing.
Susan, when you went to New York or in Washington, did you think you were going to win?
No, I didn't. I mean, you know, that's easy to say now, but I really didn't even think about it. I was just going to have a good time.
Have you always wanted to be a national spelling champion, or is this just something that happened?
Well, I've been doing it since 5th grade because I wanted to, and I just sort of got used to it, so I stuck with it.
What do you think being a champion speller is good for? In other words, do you think that...
Well, I guess spelling helps, you know, when you're in school and everything, and I guess when you get out in the world, but, you know, I guess there's better things to do, but then there's worse, I don't know.
What's better than spelling?
Oh, maybe winning a football championship or something.
What did you think about when you were getting down to the line and having to spell the last words?
Well, I got some hard words, you know, down to the end, and I kept thinking, well, it's nice to be third, and then I missed one, and I thought, well, it's nice to be second, and then they gave me another chance, you know, because she missed a word, and I thought, if I don't get it now, you know, then maybe I just don't deserve it.